So I told her, you will not talk, I linked you. Let me say I linked you before you will give your testimony. It happened in 2003. See, that's some 15 years ago, right?
Yes.
She was pregnant for her daughter, and she was quite anemic, white. That time, I was working with Federal Mortgage Bank at Oka. So the doctors tried and said they transfused blood, tried and nothing could happen. When I go to the hospital, the nurses, everybody running around. Has she told you what the doctor said? I said, what did the doctor say? That if she's not transfused, she will die. I said, They said, this is not a matter of after you go and marry another wife. Better be serious so that she doesn't die. I said, okay. Is she still conscious? They said, yes. So, okay, what did she tell you? They said, she said she will not touch you. I said, fine. So they said, there's nothing we can do, that we have to go. We left the hospital. By then, we registered in about 4 hospitals. Because I told them I didn't want that baby to come in a local place. That was what I said then. So eventually, this hospital said, no transfusion, they won't go anywhere. So eventually, somebody came where other people were sad, feeling sad, and said, what is the problem? They said, with this our friend, they just come to Oka and see the situation. And that man said, blood, is it a problem again? Blood is no problem. There is something they used to bring from Benin. Once you get that now, this problem is solved. I said, He said, yes. Okay, how do I get it? He gave me 2 numbers of the man. He said he used to bring it. I've not seen the man before. I called and called. I could not get through. By that time, the mask, the Oka mask, was not fully developed. So later, I went to the village. I'm from Abia State. From Oka, I went to my village to tell my parents the problems we were passing through. Eventually, somebody came to our home there and knocked, rang the bell. My nephew went. After checking, he came in alone. I said, but somebody rang the bell now. Who is the person? He said, it's one man, it's one brother. It's like he came to see our secretary. I told him that the Kingdom Hall. I said, you say, man, where did he come from? He said, it's like he works at the Abba depot. I said, please run, no. That there's a man that works at the Abba depot that I'm looking for. I don't know him. Go and ask him. Is his name Ozomo? If he says Ozomo, then your uncle wants to see him. Behold, that was how I met that man. I've not met him before, or cause to no affair. So when he came and said, are you Ozomo? He said, I said, please, thank God, I've been looking for you. He said, what for? I told him the problem. I said, my wife has serious issue. He said, what is the problem? I said, it's white. Everywhere it's white. No strength. He's just lying down. He said, what other problem? I said, that's the basic problem. He said, then that is no problem. I said, oh, take me serious. How can you tell me it's no problem? I said, my wife is not standing and you're telling me that is no problem. He said, as far as I've seen him, that is no problem, that is solved. Will my wife's case be different, that he's been solving it for many other people? I said, okay, do you have the thing? He said, he didn't know he will see me now. I said, okay, how do we get it? We are then, the next day, he was going to Enugu with the wife. They branched into my village. By then, I had spent money in other things that didn't work. So I had money to buy only 1 bottle. So he gave me that bottle. I took it to Oka. So when I was going to the bank in the morning, I called my wife. I said that this thing, they said it will solve your problem. But the man told me that now it's at an early stage because of the fermentation that it smells. Don't worry about the smell. Now what we are looking for is your life. So that time I went to her and said, please, you try and take it, forget the smell. That was at the early stage. If you put it at the early stage, if they open it here, the smell will pursue you. It will be as if they are carrying soccer weapons. They have actually gone, refined it very well. So when I went to the office, after some time, I called home to know where my wife was still alive. And it was my wife who picked the call. And my wife spoke to me as if nothing was happening to her. She started laughing. I said, "Hey, which drama are you acting?" He said, that drug, because then they used to write on the body, the miracle of our time. You remember?
He's here.
Okay. So they used to write the miracle of our time. So my wife told me that drug is really the miracle of our time. I said, still, I said, yes. So it has given you relief. Say you wouldn't even believe that I tried to call her and bought something to prepare soup. I say it's not you. So when she comes, say, I'm your wife, will I lie to you? I said, okay. I call my wife, my friend Pastor Anyadike Akaba, is now in US. I said, please go to so place, buy 6 bottles of this drug, send it to the village. I'm coming to the village. I went to the village and we took it, and that was how my wife became okay. That baby took WAEC. She wrote this last WAEC, the baby that she was carrying. So, when will I start? When eventually we were in Port Harcourt, and they called and said whether she will market the drug, she came and told me. Because actually I told her, we don't want to enter into this network. 2 of us asked her. I said, even when people are making big money, that why I don't want to enter it is a lot of people lie. They tell a lot of lies. It what is that? So because of that, she was agitated whether I would have. I said, no. This is a product we have taken and seen its workability. Tell them that yes, you market it, that I'm by you. It's no lie, we have seen it. Actually, I cannot go into the testimony, will not go today. A lot of it. Now, she has put in the hands of, even at teaching us to know, doctors are using it. The pharmacies are around there. Actually, the consultant gynecology is there. You know, normally, orthodox doctors, they will not agree. So when I insisted, I said, I'm telling you, try this thing. Come up with what it is. He tried it a couple of times, and he's using it today. In fact, they are even delaying. When I said they are delaying, that doctor told me that he's in a committee that has to promote a drug for international recognition. That he has used this drug that is very okay. That if I want, that let them show interest, the proposal, that he will carry it and it will be of international recognition. That he has used it, and up to, even yesterday, I called that consultant that because my niece, who is a settler, was delivered of a baby 2 days ago. And she also, I sent bottles of this Mojeaga to her. So I called the doctor again and said she was delivered. I said, okay. I said, but I had, I don't know where they said somebody bought one of these, not erythropoietin, Hermansen. The doctor said, no, give her Mojeaga. The consultant, this one was yesterday's discussion. Say, give her Mojeaga, that's what she needs. In fact, the testimony, if we start from Port Harcourt, if you come to my office at Nnewi, if I bring one big diary, all our staff, you see their names there. If they don't have money, they buy on credit. When they pay money, they bring. They are using it for their friends. Sometimes a particular staff will have bought product worth of 20,000. They send to their relatives. So just like somebody said here, in Benin I was expecting that if I come here, I was expecting it to be in the field that we are going to see people, if they really know what they have. But an appeal I want to make to the producer of Mojeaga. The product is perfect, but the limitation is advertisement. When we go to people, they say that we don't know it. So it's only people that know the value that patronize us. If they can make up to do an advert, let people see this thing. I'm telling you, I don't think there's any drug in this class. So please, sir, that is one thing I'm begging you people to do. Try to see how you can advertise this drug. As for its reliability, its workability, somebody say, it they work, no be so? It's not that my wife can tell you something, because I introduced that. So, if you can come over.